Today, in meteor history, Walt Whitman's poem, Year of Meteors, 1859 to 1860. July 20th, 1860, northeastern U.S. 9:40 p.m. A poem by Brooklyn, New York poet Walt Whitman, Year of Meteors, 1859 to 1860, published in a later edition of Leaves of Grass, describes a, quote, strange, huge meteor procession, dazzling and clear, shooting over our heads, unquote. For many years, no one could identify the event. Then, in 2010, Texas State University San Marcos physicist Donald W. Olson discovered a painting by Hudson River artist Frederick Edwin Church, depicting two large meteors streaming across the sky and dated July 20th, 1860. An examination of contemporary newspapers revealed that this was probably Whitman's meteor procession. Around 9:40 p.m., two meteors with trails, one behind another, are seen in New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Norfolk, and other locations in the east, proceeding slowly from northwest to southeast for nearly 1 minute. They are as bright as Venus. A rare event and little understood until 1913, a meteor procession occurs when an Earth-grazing meteor breaks apart and the fragments travel across the sky in the same horizontal path. Olson and his colleagues finally published their discovery in the July 2010 issue of Sky and Telescope. Here's a report of the incident from a contemporary newspaper entitled, quote, The Wonders of the Heavens, the Meteor Train, unquote. Quote, By his spirit he hath garnished the heavens, his hand hath formed the crooked serpent. Lo, these are part of his ways. Job. Who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. Psalms. Last evening, July 20th, a few minutes before 10 o'clock, a most beautiful meteoric train struck its track across the sky, passing from southwest to northeast. Two meteors of splendid brilliancy with long flaming tails, and surrounded with what appeared to be a globe of phosphorescent light, tracked on, one behind the other, as if an effort was making for mastering. In the rear of these were 4 or 5 lesser ones, which had gradually dropped off from the larger ones. The smaller had no flaming tails, and therefore left the two larger the grand objects of the scene. The train passed on from far beyond the zenith, till lost in the distant horizon, still, however, lustrous. Who can estimate the rapidity of its flight, when it was only a moment in sight traveling this amazing distance? In the east, where its track pointed, the lightning's flash disclosed a storm. What had the meteor to do with the storm? Unquote. Donald and Marilyn Olson, Russell Desher, and Ava Pope described the celestial marvel in their Sky and Telescope article. Quote, On the evening of July 20th, 1860, a large Earth-grazing body fragmented during its nearly horizontal passage through the atmosphere, creating a meteor procession with multiple fireballs. The ground track covered at least 1,000 miles from the Great Lakes through New York State to the Atlantic Ocean. The meteor apparently performed the same remarkable feat as the daylight fireball of August 30th, 1972, escaping back into space after a grazing encounter with Earth's atmosphere. Unquote. The following is a portion of the poem where Walt Whitman makes reference to the 1860 marvel. Bloorb's note. I would have included the entire poem, but please be advised that though this could be left somewhat up to the reader's interpretation, the poem is pretty heavy-handedly about falling in love with a quote-unquote youth, as well as courting young immigrants. Whitman was 39 at the time. Here is the relevant passage of the poem. Quote, "Nor forget I to sing of the wonder the ship as she swam up my bay. Well-shaped and stately, the Great Eastern swam up my bay. She was 600 feet long, her moving swiftly, surrounded by myriads of small craft. I forget not to sing, nor the comet that came unannounced out of the north, flaring in heaven, nor the strange, huge meteor procession, dazzling and clear, shooting over our heads. A moment long, it sailed its balls of unearthly light over our heads, then departed, dropped in the night, and was gone. Of such and fitful as they I sing, with gleams from them would I gleam and patch these chants. Your chants, O year all mottled with evil and good, year of forebodings, year of the youth I love, year of comets and meteors, transient and strange, though, even here, one equally transient and strange, as I flit through you hastily, soon to fall and be gone. What is this book? What am I myself, but one of your meteors?" Unquote. Donald and Marilyn Olson lead a team of forensic astronomers and are perhaps most well known for their analysis of the painting Scream by Edvard Munch, linking the brilliant red sky in the painting to the eruption of Krakatoa in 1883. In identifying the 1860 event, they depended upon the work of James Coffin, a 19th century meteorologist known for studying wind patterns throughout the world. From the 2010 article in the Sky and Telescope magazine about the Olsons' findings, quote, "For last summer's research trip, Donald Olson headed to the Hudson Catskill area of New York with co-author and English professor Marilyn Olson, colleague Russell Desher, and honors student Ava Pope. The prime attraction was Church's magnificent home, Olana, now a museum. The staff let us spend a whole day poring through archives to look for clues about Church's comings and goings in the summer of 1860. Church was on his honeymoon, and Olana was still but a gleam in his eyes, so the newlyweds might have stayed in Catskill with Theodore Cole, a close friend and the son of Thomas Cole, a fellow artist of the Hudson River Valley School. It's tempting to imagine the couple enjoying the night air, perhaps on the Cole house's wide porch, when the meteors soared by. Porches. Does anyone use them anymore? People certainly did in 1860, as we learned while going through an extensive paper by James H. Coffin in the Smithsonian Contributions to Knowledge. Coffin trudged across New England with a theodolite, interviewing all the eyewitnesses he could. He found 16 in his own hometown of Easton, Pennsylvania, crediting his good luck to the prevalent custom of our people to sit at the front doors of their houses in summer evenings. Coffin's exhaustive study helped the team get a clear idea how the meteor procession must have looked, not just to Frederick Church in Catskill, but also to Walt Whitman in New York City." Unquote. In an earlier article from Texas State University, San Marcos, Donald Olson is quoted as saying, quote, "Any town that had a newspaper within all those states is going to have a story on this. We have hundreds of eyewitness accounts, but there are probably hundreds more we don't even have." From all the observations in towns up and down the Hudson River Valley, we're able to determine the meteor's appearance down to the hour and minute. Church observed it at 9:49 p.m., when the meteor passed overhead, and Walt Whitman would have seen it at the same time, give or take 1 minute. Unquote. The original text and references for this story come from the Twitter account of Jeff Knox, and a link to these can be found in the episode description. Views expressed in these videos come from historical documents, and they are not necessarily the views of Jeff Knox or myself. Please check out his tweets for more. For more videos like this one, please like and follow my TikTok. I'm Telesma Blooorb. Thank you for watching.